Missiles? Cool. Mail? Kinda boring. But somehow, when you mix the two, you get one of the weirdest government experiments ever. Mail delivered by missile. Yes, this was a real idea. And for a short moment in history, it was seriously considered the future of the postal service. Mail hasn't always traveled in envelopes and vans. In the past, people have used sled dogs in the Arctic, skiers in the Rockies, and boats across lakes just to deliver a few letters. Even today, some towns in the US still get their mail by helicopter or mule. So, why not missiles? Back in the 1950s, the mail system was still one of the main ways people communicated. Telephones existed but weren't everywhere, and telegrams weren't exactly cheap. Speed mattered, and people were desperate to make mail delivery faster. So, the thinking went like this. Trains are slow, cars are faster, planes are fast. But missiles? They're the fastest of them all. Of course, there were some obvious flaws. Missiles are expensive, they're hard to recover, and, they're literally weapons. Even without explosives, firing a rocket at a town just to drop off some letters sounds more like a Bond villain plan than a postal solution. But one man really believed in this idea, Arthur Summerfield, the Postmaster General at the time. He was all in on rocket-powered mail. He even predicted that missiles would soon deliver mail across the world in just a few hours, before we'd even land on the moon. But in the end, we reached the moon before rocket mail ever became reality. Still, they gave it a shot. In 1959, a U.S. Navy submarine, the USS Barbaro, was loaded with 3,000 letters. The submarine left Norfolk, Virginia, and sailed south along the Atlantic coast. A few days later, off the coast of Mayport, Florida, it launched a Regulus cruise missile. Instead of a warhead, it carried mail, letters carefully prepared and sealed. Most of these letters were written by Summerfield himself, addressed to important people, like the President of the United States, other government officials, postmasters around the world, and leaders of countries in the Universal Postal Union. It was a symbolic gesture to show the world the possibilities of rocket mail. Now here's the funny part. The missile flew south, over 100 miles to the coast of Florida, and splashed down near a naval base. But most of the mail wasn't headed south. In fact, a majority of the letters were meant to go north to Washington, D.C., or overseas to Europe and other parts of the world. So, the missile actually delivered the mail in the completely wrong direction. Clearly, it wasn't the most efficient or practical delivery method, but that wasn't really the point of the test. It was more about making a statement, a bit of a publicity stunt. Summerfield wanted to impress politicians, postal workers, and the public with what rocket technology could do, and the military saw it as a chance to show off their missiles to the Soviets during the Cold War. Today, those missile-delivered letters have become valuable collector's items, some fetching hundreds of dollars among stamp and postal history enthusiasts. But as a mail delivery system, it was a dead end. The missile was actually slower than regular planes of the time, cost way more money, and couldn't be reused. And let's be honest, most people probably weren't thrilled about rockets flying over their neighborhoods just to deliver birthday cards and bills. So yeah, missile mail was real. It didn't revolutionize the postal service, but it definitely earned its place in history's weirdest experiments. Just another example of how far humans will go in the name of faster communication.